If a priest who does not have time for confession and instead does a quick absolution in a time crunch because of Mass is coming up, for instance, is it still a valid absolution, or should I still go to confession? Any advice, Father?
Yeah, you didn't go to confession. You were not absolved. Confession needs to be integral. Okay? So if Father doesn't have time, first off, I know many priests, especially by themselves, hearing confessions, right before the Saturday Vigil Mass, things get into a crunch. I'll sanitize this, keep it anonymous. I and many priests will be in a situation where you go, well, there's enough time to hear one more confession. And someone comes in and very sincerely, Father, it's been 17 years since my last confession. Well, I'm not going to cover that in 4.5 minutes. If you could just do absolution, I can just drive up and down the highway, absolving every truck and bus going by. So the confession, I have to make an auricular, specific case number. I did this so often, serious, not serious. And then you're given a penance and absolution. General absolution, you have to be on a sinking ship. You have to be on a crashing plane. I was in combat zones for over 3 years, and only twice did I get even close to doing general absolution, and I didn't. And the military archdiocese actually printed these really nice laminated cards, which explained it and said, this is not getting rid of your confession, it's just postponing. If you dig on the internet, you can see the photographs. I was in uniform by reserves. I didn't go. In the first Gulf War, back in 1990, 1991, a large number of soldiers were given general absolution. Once Kuwait City was secure, most people don't know this, there are 4 Catholic churches in Kuwait City. There's now 8. There's a great picture because these army priests took over this chapel, and there's lines of soldiers with their weapons waiting to go to confession. And this one priest was telling us a story when he got back. He and his other 3 priests, they took turns. It was 2 at a time, but they heard confessions 10 hours a day for about a week and a half. Because there was literally hundreds and hundreds of people who received general absolution. But on the back of the card is, you still have to do an individual regular confession as soon as possible. When I was a younger priest, there was often the scandal. People would come back from vacation and they go, well, right before Mass, Father just generally absolved everyone. Here's your problem with that. Let's just say you have some invincible ignorance because you're not well formed in the faith. You should know it's wrong, but let's say you don't. Those sins still need expiation. They don't dissipate. So who gets all that sin on their soul? The priest. So all the people in that church, all their sins are now on his soul, whether he admits it or not. I have enough problems in my own personal life. I do not need other people's sins. But no, pray for your priest. Yeah. He's probably trying to do his best. He's probably very rushed. Again, I'm blessed to be in a diocese with many priests. We have confessions twice a day, every day, 6 days a week. We're in a beautiful, unique situation. But I have brother priests in like West Virginia. We have 2 churches in 3 counties, and they live out of their car. So it's a different challenge elsewhere. So I'll never judge a priest unless I know the specifics. But generally speaking, get in line and go to confession.
That reminds me of this one time I went to a religious order in California. I was traveling, I won't say which one, but it's in Big Sur. Showed up there, went to Mass. I really needed to go to confession. And so after Mass, I pulled one of the brothers aside and I said, hey, is there a priest that's available to hear my confession? And he said, yeah, definitely. Just give me 1 second. Then he left and I waited around. Then he said, okay, yeah, there's a priest here that will hear. And I went into this office and it was like a job interview. Like it was not a confessional. I sat across the desk and I confessed. And then at the end, he just kind of looked at me and nodded. And I thought, is that it? And it turns out that this guy, it was the deacon who heard my confession, which is completely invalid. I don't understand why they even thought that was a good idea. It's so ridiculous. But yeah, confession.
In seminary, we always would joke that even though I'm not ordained, I can hear confessions. I just can't do anything about them.
Right. I didn't need to get it off my chest. I needed absolution. So, Gendrix, go back to confession if you can.